Well, hello, District 14 Toastmasters. Welcome to the Speech Contest Team Training. International is on the move. I am Joanne Sheets. I am the District 14 Contest Chair, along with our contest team tonight, who are Debbie Thompson, Teresa Middleton, J.D. Dirkschneider, Barbara Laracy, Linda Rogers, Trina Mackey, and Denise James. We are delighted that you're here tonight, and tonight is our question and answer session. We hope that you brought your questions about the International Speech Contest tonight. We are recording this training, so I will read the District 14 photo and video release statement. By attending this meeting, training, event, I consent and authorize District 14 to copyright, use, and publish any of the images in any format, photographs, videos, etc., taken of me. I understand these images may be used for a variety of purposes and may appear on the District 14 website, social media, promotional materials, or any other media. I also want to share a few Zoom navigation tips. For the audio, please mute unless you're speaking. Leave your video on if possible, and you have access to the side-by-side view during the PowerPoint, and everyone can chat privately or openly. These are our speech contest dates. As you know, that we have finished the Tall Tales contest, and it was an exaggeratorific contest season. For the district contest for Tall Tales, it will be held in April 2025. For the international contest, clubs are to have their contest completed by January 31st, and your club can choose to be online contest or an in-person. February 28th for the area contest, and the area contest is in person only. And then March 31st is the deadline for the division contest, and it is in person only as well. Then comes April, our district conference, and this is where we will have our district contest, and it is in person only. Now, remember that divisions may combine their tall tale contests with their international contest in March if you so desire. Tonight, you were asked to watch these videos and then register for today's training. International Speech Contest Training, International is on the move. And we have several different videos out there, and I'm sure that some of you have watched them, and I hope that you put your questions together because we're ready to answer them for you. With that being said, let's get started. What questions do you have tonight? Just feel free to jump in with your questions, and all of us are gonna answer for you.
Hi, this is Toastmaster Abner. I want to apologize. I didn't have opportunity to review those videos. I thought this was more of a training versus a Q&A. So I apologize. I don't have any questions to come with at this time.
Okay. Think about the international contest. Now, Toastmaster Abner, is this your first time holding an international contest?
Yes.
Awesome.
Are you going to be holding it at the club or the area level?
I will have to do it at both levels because I'm the VPE of my club, and I'm an area director for Area 71.
Okay.
Well, let's talk first about the qualifications for your international speech contestants. They have to be a paid member of a club in good standing.
Mm-hmm.
They also need to have finished levels 1 and 2 of a path in order to compete in international. In something like Tall Tales or Humorous, you just have to be a paid member of a club in good standing. But for the international speech contest, as a contestant, you must have completed levels 1 and 2 of a path in order to compete.
Thank you so much. That answers a major question for me, even at the club level. Okay, thank you. And I do recall seeing that in some of the reading that I got from the handbook, but that was just a reminder for me. So thank you.
Sure. Sure. And some people will forget that. And a contestant can be disqualified at any point in the process if at any previous point they were not a paid member of a club in good standing and had had their level 1 and 2 of APATH finished.
Katina, have you set your club contest date?
Well, I have scheduled an appointment to meet with the committee members, and I plan to discuss with them our club level date. I'm sorry, to schedule for our club. I'm waiting to get a response back from the entire committee as far as what day. The good thing about it is we're a club that meets every week versus twice a month or once a month.
Okay. Okay.
Now, one of the things you should be aware of is that at the club level, you don't have to actually have a speech contest.
Right.
If you choose to have a contest, it needs to be run by Toastmaster contest rules, and the results of that contest are final. So let's say you had 2 people who competed in your contest and they both went overtime, then your club would not have a contestant going forward, because the results of that speech contest, as run by TI official rules, would be that you had no contestants to send forward because they were both disqualified based on time. But if you choose not to have a contest, although TI encourages you to have contests, District 14 encourages you to have contests, we as a contest team encourage that too. But if for some reason you can't have an actual TI contest there, then you can choose your contestants any way you want. You could have somebody who volunteers, and that's the only person who speaks up. They can be your contestant. You could volunteer someone, say, well, don't you want to do this for me? Please, please, please. And they say yes, then that person is your contestant. So just keep that in mind. But that's only true at the club level. Area level and above, it has to be a formal contest run according to TI contest rules.
Thank you.
Right. Hi, I'm Tanya Hinton with Achieving Excellence Toastmasters. How are you all tonight?
Great. Hi, Tanya.
We will be having a contest on Saturday, and we have 2 contestants so far at this late date so far. And we're still in need of a judge. It's my understanding that we need to have 2 judges and 1 tiebreaker judge. And unfortunately, we found out that one of the judges was a relative of the contestant. So that means that judge cannot participate, correct?
No,
She's shaking her head no.
so this is a club contest, I'm sorry, club or
It's
area?
it's a club contest, yes.
There's nothing in the contest rule book that says you cannot be related to people.
Oh, okay. Okay, I believe that we were afraid there might be some bias, I guess, there. So
Under-
didn't want the other contestant to feel like,
And that's totally understandable. I can see that because one of the rules of the judges, and as far as ethics, is that you can judge something objectively, that you are not biased.
Okay.
But nothing in the rule book. And you said
Okay.
two judges?
Yes, 2 judges and 1, is it a tiebreaker judge?
Tiebreaker.
Chief judge?
Judge, yes.
Okay.
So the chief judge is a critical role. They don't vote. They're the ones that make sure your contest is legal. And they're the
Okay.
ones that are oversee the judges and all the officials, the judges, the timers, the ballot counters. But that's a very important role because they're overseeing the entire contest and they're making sure that the rules and contest rules and regulations are followed. So that's a critical role in that. You need to have a chief judge for everything, regardless. Now, as far as judges, and it's always good to have a tiebreaker judge as well. Linda, I was looking for that. Thank you. It's always good to have a tiebreaker judge as well because I've heard people say, well, we have an odd number of contestants. That means we never have a tie. We're like, no, that does not mean that. We have had ties when you have just 2 judges or 3 judges. It doesn't matter. You need a tiebreaker judge. The only time I can see that you do not need a tiebreaker judge is if you only have 1 official contestant, you don't have anybody else. There will never be a tie in that situation. So I can see you waiving that or making the tiebreaker judge a voting judge. But if you see here where it says 5 under the club, you've got 5 judges unless impractical. So I don't want you to feel like 2 judges is the ideal because really the more judges you have, the fairer your contest because you're not, if you've only got 1 or 2 people picking the judge, that's not optimal. As many judges as you can get, but it also does say unless impractical. So get as many as you can. This is a great plug for our contest team because we are having judges training coming up and we'll tell you more about that. But if you've got people in your club that aren't or don't feel comfortable as judges, tell them to go to judges training so they'll be prepared to judge in the future. May not be able to judge for your club contest, but at least for your area and everything. But get as many judges as you can. And it doesn't say you can't have more than 5. That's fine. But I would try if you could to get more than just 2.
Okay. Okay. Any recommendations? Would any of you like to participate?
When you said your speech contest is Saturday?
It's Saturday.
The 18th?
Yes.
And-
At 10 a.m.
And which club again?
Achieving Excellence.
And where is
Samantha
that?
Blackwell is the president.
Is
And-
that online or is that going to be in person?
It's online.
Okay.
Online.
And what time is it?
At 10 a.m. Excuse me, so I'm sorry. It's at 9. I apologize. It's at 9 a.m. Saturday morning.
Have you had your judges briefing yet?
Not yet.
Okay. I was just wondering because especially if you're having a virtual contest, one of the things you would need to let all the judges know is how do they submit their ballots? Sometimes they submit them, or they ask that you submit, just take a phone photo and send it to somebody.
Yes.
Great
Mhm.
idea to have the chief judge and the contest master's phone numbers for everybody so they can contact them if they have any issues. But part of the briefing is just to determine, how are we going to get our votes to you? What does that look like? That kind of thing. And make sure they have, phone numbers that they need in case they have any issues.
Okay. All right. Mhm.
Debbie, would you also address what if there is a protest? If it's a virtual contest?
Oh, okay. I wanted to check one more thing, maybe if somebody knows this right off their head, but I think for judges, you do have to have been a Toastmaster for 6 months. So you can't ask a brand new Toastmaster to necessarily be a judge. I think they want the judges to have a little bit more experience, although 6 months is not that much, but I do think that's in the rule book. I'll try to find it. So what they're talking about with protest is one of the regulations for Toastmasters International Speech is that it is original. And what the rule book says about original is that it is 25% or less is, hold on, let me see if I can read it. Okay, 25, sorry, I'm looking for my rule book. 25% or less can be attributed to someone else. It's not your original thought, but it does need to be, everything needs to be, you need to affirm who's saying it. If you're not saying it or it's a quote, you need to tell people, you need to attribute it to them. And let me see if I can find the exact wording for you. But if anybody thinks that the speech is not original, there is a protest process. So your judges and your contestants can say, wait a minute, I want to protest that speech because I heard it the other day somewhere else. And I want to make sure that, this contest is fair and that is original speech. So hold on, let me look for a protest real quick. Okay, sorry about that. So the process is that if you have a protest, that you have to allow the contestant to speak to the voting judges. And you don't just call out that person, you very discreetly, if you have a protest against, say you have a protest against contestant 1, you have to let contestant 1 make their case in front of the voting judges. So let me just give you an example of an originality issue I had at one contest years and years ago. But there was a speaker who, when she was speaking, said, my grandmother used to read these stories to me every night, and I just love them. And she proceeded to give a poem, and it was exceptional. But because she said, my grandmother read this to me, some people protested because they thought, wait a minute, if she's just reading, a poetry book, that's not original. So what we did when we got the judges and the contestant together and the chief judge, we asked her about it, and she said, oh, no, I wrote everything. It was all my idea, my stories, my words. However, I just said my grandmother read it to me because I wanted to emphasize that I was a child and for effect. And so all of the voting judges said, well, that's original. There's no issue here. That's fine. She is not disqualified. Now, had it been the other way and she said, oh yeah, that was from my book my grandmother read me and I read directly from it, that's not original. And we would have probably voted the other way. So that's just an example. It does need to be an original speech. It's 25%. And so I always ask this, what is 25% of your speech? I'm not keeping your time. I have no idea, but if it feels like it is more than that, that's why we have the process of a protest. You can come in and say, okay, it felt to me like it was more than 25%. We want to go through this process. We want to talk to the contestant, and that way you can vote. And then once you vote, it's final. Does that answer your question? I'll try to find the exact wording, but I don't have my.
Debbie, you mentioned about the eligibility for judges. The rule book on page 7 says to be a chief judge, voting judge, or tie-breaking judge at a Toastmasters speech contest, you must meet all eligibility requirements identified below. At a club contest, be a paid member.
Okay.
Area, division, or district contest must be a paid member for a minimum of 6 months, have completed a minimum of 6 speech projects in the competent communication manual, or earn certificates of completion in levels 1 and 2 of any path in Toastmasters Paths learning experience. You must be physically present at the contest for which you are serving. So that's the eligibility for judges.
So Tanya, at the club level, it doesn't have a requirement for how long you have to have been a Toastmaster. It might be a great opportunity for some of your newer Toastmasters to judge a contest. If you really need them, it sounds like you might need a few more judges, so that's just an opportunity. But then have them go to the judges training, so they'll be ready.
Right, but they have to at least had 6 speeches.
No, not for the club. The club says the only thing they have to have is, be a member in good standing. They have to have paid their dues.
And it also states the 6 speeches from a competent communicator. That's only for people who were Toastmasters prior to the introduction of Pathways. If they joined after Pathways came in, then they have to complete level 1 and level 2 of a path.
Okay, so
Oh, so
I found the originality rule. It's 25% or less of the speech may be devoted to quoting, paraphrasing, or referencing another person's content. Any quoted, paraphrased, or referenced content must be so identified during the speech presentation. So if you have a quote or you're referencing speech that you heard, you need to tell them who gave that speech or attribute it to somebody. Now, you've seen us, and we've got a lot of experience. It's very hard to remember all of the rules that go with contest, but that's why we have the videos. And so if you haven't had an opportunity, you can pick specific videos that you want to talk about. So for example, your judges, there's one called how to be a law-abiding judge. Have those people that you want to be judges just listen to that video, and that will really help them out to know what they're looking for. And so I know it's hard if you haven't read the rule book and memorized the rule book to remember all this stuff. But those videos will really help you.
Okay,
Debbie, let me also add to the 25% originality rule. On the day of a contest, you'll be disqualified if you are speaking after someone else and you reference their material in the same contest. Otherwise, you can make quotes and paraphrases of others, like she said.
I'm going to step in here and show a slide. And these are the trainings that Debbie was talking about. Out on the YouTube channel District 14 Trainings, under the YouTube playlist, Speech Contest Training, we have a number of training videos: how to have a fabulous contest, how to chair and master a fabulous contest, contest basics for contestants, how to be a law-abiding judge, how to be an honorable chief judge, how to have a terrific online contest, breaking ballot room ties, speech contest do's and don'ts play, and the importance of dodging contest gotchas. So these are, yes, some of them are an hour long. I realize you're not going to watch them all, but these are the types of things that are out on that YouTube playlist under the District 14 Trainings channel on YouTube.
okay. Good to know, thank you.
Good evening. Let's see if I can get my video up. Yeah, okay. Good evening, everybody. Actually, I'm kind of like Katina. I wasn't quite sure what the training was. I missed the Augusta training. I couldn't make that. So I thought maybe this was going to give us updates on what's changed. And actually, I am getting information on some of the things that have changed. I know in the contest rulebook, they have those little, what is it, a little mark next to everything that's changed. So I was trying to review that really quick, but I don't see any major changes other than it's live now, except for the club.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. But I'm still, and go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I do the same thing. I read those little diamonds. It seems like most of the diamonds for this past time were all about doing online speech contest. I didn't see anything, like you said, I didn't see anything major that has been added recently. It was just either clarification of something, or it was about those online contests and those kinds of rules. I didn't see any major stuff either.
Thank you.
Tanya, I have a question. have you all planned, and I know you mentioned earlier about talking to your team, but have you all talked about walking through your contest, maybe having a practice since you're doing it online? Who are your video people? Who's highlighting? Who's controlling the chat? All of those things. And part of this is mentioned in some of the trainings that on that list that Linda just showed. But have you all talked about how you are going to practice for that, for your contests?
We do plan to have somewhat of a walkthrough
Okay.
because I need to be able to practice to move the contestants or the judges from the, from the room.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we will have a practice session.
Okay. I mentioned that because we have, for as long as we've been doing this, for the past 3 years, we found it very helpful to do that. We learned a lot, and it's very helpful when everybody knows what needs to be done, who's doing what. So that might be helpful to you as well.
Right.
If you're doing your contest online.
Right.
So the other thing, Tanya, you may want to think about, we talked about protests for a second. If you do have a protest, but it's online, then you would need to move people to a breakout room in order to hear, the contestant and everything. So you may want to at least practice setting up breakout rooms for that, or you will need a breakout room for the judges and the ballot counters to go into to, finish counting the ballots and things like that. So that might be something you want to just make sure you understand how to set up breakout rooms, and in case you need them.
Move people in and out.
I always think that one of the things you want to do during a contest is to make the contest as professional as you can, as smoothly running as you can, and keep in mind that your goal is to make the contestants look really good. And when you are fumbling with who's got the hot potato and it's kind of passing from one person to the next and nobody knows what's going on, it can be painful to participate in one of those contests. It can be painful as an audience member to watch that contest where the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. So talking about it in depth with all the other contest officials, who are running the contest, making sure that the contestants know exactly what they're supposed to do, understanding for the contest master how to introduce the contestants, name, speech title, name, not referring to any past accomplishments that they have done, not calling them by any honorific at all, not telling them what clubs they're in or what areas they're from, when you get to the division level contest or the area level contest, all of those sorts of things. You want your contest to be as efficient and professional as possible. And knowing the rules, making sure everyone understands their part will help you have a professional contest.
And think about too, it's all about being fair, being fair to everyone, because you don't want to do something one way with one contestant and another way with another contestant. You don't want to do anything that might influence the judges. And so that's why you don't say this person is a DTM or this person, as a motivational speaker, and nothing like that. It's just the facts and just the just the contest.
You treat every person the same way. You don't smile and make effusive comments about one contestant and not smile and make a effusive contest about the next. I mean, you just don't do that. Our next contestant is Toastmaster so-and-so. Speech title, Toastmaster so-and-so. You need to confirm that they can see the timer, that they can be heard, depending on the room you're in or your Zoom characteristics or whatever. And then you let them know they can start whenever they want. And the timer needs to know when they're starting the timing device, and just a lot of things like that. It sounds straightforward, but you'd be surprised what you get, because every time you do it, all the players are different. And they're all doing what they think they need to do, but it may not be what you want them to.
And the devil is in the details.
Oh, yes.
You need to make sure not only can the contestants see your timing device, you need to make sure that the device is working properly. If you're using lights or things like that, you always want to make sure that all of your technology is working. That's why Linda was saying that when you're doing an online contest, you may want to do a run through just to make sure that all the technical stuff is working smoothly.
Gotcha.
And even when you do an in-person contest, area level and above, you really need to make sure everyone's on the same page. And a lot of times I suggest when you're doing an in-person contest, you should have an online meeting before the contest, just so everyone knows what they're going to be doing. That helps your in-person contest run a lot more smoothly too.
All right. So question.
Oh,
So
go ahead.
I apologize.
Go ahead.
Okay. And so am I to understand the result of this contest? We will have one winner, and that winner will proceed to the international contest. And is that how this is working? So the two contestants that contest, that compete Saturday, they both can't go to the international?
What'll happen is if you have your two contestants, one is going to be in first place, your other was going to be in second place. And when you send the results form up, you're going to list them in order on that results form, and it'll show first place, their name, second place, their name, and information. That way, if something happens to your first place contestant, your second place will compete at the area.
Yeah. The other thing you need to know, if you have more than two contestants on that result form, that's official. If you have 8 contestants, you need to list all 8 of those people on that form, because I've had contests where the first, the second, and the third place person could not go. And so it went to the 4th place person. And if you hadn't listed all those people on the form, they wouldn't know who to go to next. And so that's something about the results form. You need everybody that competed.
It's not just everyone who competed, it's everyone who competed properly. If someone was disqualified because they spoke under time, or disqualified because there was a protest and that person was no longer being considered, you don't put those people on. You put only the people who were qualified by the end of the speech contest on the results form. And you'd be surprised, especially at the club level, the number of people who cannot go on to the area contest because they have a conflict. Scheduling conflict, or they forgot, or they got sick, or, something. You'd be surprised at the number of people who cannot go on. So listing everyone in your club who competed and was a valid competitor on that results form is important. And sometimes, if you only have one person from your club who competed and they're on the results form to go forward, and they cannot because they have a scheduling conflict with the area level, then your club's just not going to have a representative at the area contest.
You can't name somebody after the fact. There is, and I went out today, that's why I can tell you about this, on our District 14 website page under contest, I think it's resources and contests, there is an international speech kit, and it has a lot of the forms that you will need. I did go out there today to make sure it was updated, and it is. So it has certificates, it has that result form, it has the ballots that you need. It has all of the stuff that you'll need for the contest, and it may be good for you to go out and pull them from there, because the other thing is you need to make sure the forms are the most current. Believe it or not, they change over the years, and the International Speech Contest form changed in May of 2024. So you need to make sure you have the latest version.
Okay.
It's a good place to go for one place to go, and you get the whole kit. So you just download it for your forms.
Okay.
It has all the eligibility forms you need, the speaker's eligibility forms, that kind of stuff.
Okay,
There's also a contest rule book out there that I think is the most current too.
okay. So there aren't any forms that the judges need to complete prior to the contest.
Yes, they need to
There-
fill out a judge's form of ethics,
Eligibility, yes, they're,
eligibility and ethics. To verify that they are eligible to be a judge and are and that they agree to be fair.
And that's also in that international speech kit. Okay.
Yes.
yes.
And that's all digital. It's download, it's not putting anything in the mail. It's all digital.
Which
You
is
just download that kit, unzip whatever, and then you can print your forms.
as good in this day and time with good technology like we have, and that judge's certification form and then ethics also, they certify that they can be objective as well as they meet the eligibility criteria to be a judge for the contest. But in your case for the club, it's just that they are a paid member in the club of in good standing. And I want to add, judges training is going to be being rescheduled in Augusta, so you haven't missed it.
Okay.
That's good news.
Yes.
So if I could share my screen real quick, I'll just show you the forms that are in that we were talking about. Let me pull it up. So again, this is under the resources on the District 14 website. It has a contest tab. And if you scroll down, it says International Kit. So you'll see all of these forms, the international content, all of these forms that you're going to need. This is just one place to go to get everything. So I think that's a great resource for you.
Okay, thank you.
And I think it actually had the rule book too. So you get it all in one place.
Yeah, I think it's in there too. Yeah.
Yes, this is good information. This is my first time being involved with a contest, so.
Yeah. You know, I think it's always good to have a club contest if you can, because that way your contestants will know what to expect. Your members get an opportunity to see how a contest works, and they can be, you know, they can help you be judges and things like that. But it just, I think it takes a little bit of a load off of the contestants because it's more formal. They need to understand, you know, if they go to the area, what it's going to look like. So it's always a great idea to do it at a club if you can. Now, Joanne, because we kind of had a lead into the training, can we show the
Yes.
summons?
Yes.
Okay. So we are so excited to have judges training this year, and we are going to different cities, but we have a court appearance for you. The Superior Court of the 14th District of the state of Georgia in the year 2025 has the following court dates. Failure to appear may result in jail time or at the very least unlawful judges. So these are the times that we have. We're confirming everything. There is a QR code for registration, and I will drop this in the chat. There is bling if you come. It is a cost of $6, which is non-refundable. If we do have to cancel, though, we would certainly return your money or give you some options. But these are the dates, and we are so excited about that. I'll drop this in the chat for you. But that is an opportunity for your club members to come to get judges training so that they understand how to be an effective judge.
Katina, did you have a
Yeah,
question?
yes. Could you go back and share that document again and explain what that is again? Because I saw Albany on there. What is?
Yeah, let me find it again, sorry. I closed it out and I don't see it. All right, let's see.
Debbie, if you can't find it, would you like for me to pull it up?
I got it, sorry. Okay. So this is just inviting everyone to the judges training. And again, you'll see the dates. Now, I believe these times have been confirmed, but the reason they're in red is I was confirming the times. Generally, if it's on a Saturday, it's from 10:30 to 12:30. If it's on a Sunday, we did it in the afternoon. And so you'll see those different times and everything. But yeah, you saw Albany?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's February the 9th from 2 to 4 Sunday afternoon.
So-
And this QR code will take you to the registration for tickets, and it explains each venue and dates and times. When you do the QR code, it'll tell you the details behind each of the sessions.
Okay.
Some of them, the locations have not been confirmed yet. We're still working to confirm everything, but I believe the Snellville is locked in.
It is.
Okay, that's good to see Albany on the map.
So tell your club members, because we do, if we only have 2 or 3 people sign up, it's really not necessarily worth traveling. And so we want to make sure we have, a good class.
Okay. And that will come out by email because I don't recall seeing that.
It hasn't come out yet. We're going to be sending blast out.
Okay.
We're also going to be presenting this and handing this stuff out at TLIs, the 2 TLIs coming up, and they're going to have the information at deck so that your area directors will know the information and can send it to the clubs.
Good. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Now, Katina, you're an area director this year, right?
Yes, 71.
So you'll hear about this on Saturday at the deck.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, plan to be there.
All right.
Thank
Well, you're
you.
going to have a commercial because is it in Waycross or is it virtual?
It's
It's Waycross.
Yeah.
So Tanya, I hope we've answered your questions. If you think of anything else, please let us know. And we'll be delighted to help you and answer any questions that you may have. Katina, the same applies to you. Barbara, same for you. Whatever questions you may have, let us know and we'll be more than happy to answer those questions for you.
Thank you so much. Yes, this has been really helpful. I have thought of one more question.
Okay.
I am SAA for the club. So, and I also volunteered to be the contestant chair. So can I do both roles?
Okay, you're sergeant at arms and contest master?
Contest chair.
Contest chair.
Okay, contest chair. Are you going to be the one who is hosting or like the Toastmaster of the contest? You're going to be introducing the contestants and the reason I asked.
I thought that was the contest master
Okay, it
that
is.
does that.
That's
Okay.
why I ask you, because it is,
Okay.
it can be the same person, but typically it's 2 different people. But
Okay.
you, as the chair, if you read the contest rule book, there is a
Mhm.
section that says contest chair checklist. So that may be very good for you to just walk through that checklist and make sure you've got everything. For virtual meetings, you don't have to worry about venues, things like that. As far as sergeant at arms, if you are doing a virtual contest, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, for virtual, there's not a lot that the Sergeant at Arms does unless it is a table topics contest or an evaluation contest, because you don't have to sequester people.
Mhm.
And as Sergeant at Arms, I don't know who, usually the Zoom master is responsible for letting people in. So it just depends on who that is. So the only thing about
Yeah,
contest,
I normally let people in, not, you know,
okay.
yeah.
I don't see, unless somebody else has, I don't see any reason, because I don't think your Sergeant at Arms responsibilities are gonna take you away from.
Okay.
No, I don't think so either. And I haven't seen anything in the rule book that indicates that.
Now,
Okay.
if it were in person and you had a lot of responsibilities about watching the door or something else, you know, being in the sequester room, you may not want to do both, because as contest chair, you also oversee everything. So if you have issues and you're having to go to the sequester room, that's not going to work.
Right.
So,
Okay. Very good. Okay. Thank you.
As we said earlier, here is a list of all of the videos, and we strongly urge you to view some, if not all of them. They are chock full of information that's going to be helpful to each of you as you plan your contest and walk it through just before you hold your contest. What is well, we've done the tall tales, but how to have a fabulous contest. We did, are you ready for international? How to chair and master a fabulous contest, contest basics for contestants, how to be a law-abiding judge, how to be an honorable judge, how to have a terrific online contest. That's one that's worth watching as Tanya, as you're planning your online contest. And then breaking ballot room ties, speech contest do's and don'ts play, and then the importance of dodging contest gotcha. It's the little things that sometimes get us. So make sure you watch some of it, if not all of it. And then coming to a District 14 TLI near you, Saturday, January 25th in person, and Saturday, February 1st via Zoom. There will be training on 8 ways to get kicked out of a speech contest. Everything you need to know about getting kicked out of a Toastmasters International Speech Contest for Dummies. So make sure that you watch it at the TLI, or if you're in person, make sure you attend that one, because it will be very helpful as you're planning and going forward. Here are the links to the Toastmasters International site. It includes the speech contest rule book, the international speech contest kit that we mentioned earlier, the speech contest FAQs, and then there are other helpful links on the District 14 contest District 14 contest webpage, the contest FAQs. And we did those back in September, and there is a plethora of information there that will be helpful to you as you're preparing your contest for your club, for your area, and for your division. And again, if you need our help, please let us know. Now, be reminded that the District 14 webpage is still under construction, so some of the tabs that are there are not working yet, but I know that they're working on that. But the information like the FAQs and the links to the Toastmasters information, Toastmasters International information, some of that is there. On February 11th, we're going to do this all over again. International is on the move. We're going to do the same thing. We want you to watch some or all of the training videos that we have mentioned tonight, and then bring your question and answers on February 11th, because we're going to focus on your area and division contests. So please bring your questions. What do you want to know? What happens after my club contest? How do I let the next level know what happens? Who gets that list of contestants? all of those questions we will answer for you on Tuesday night, February 11th. And you all, we're here in January, but we're the middle of January. And before you know it, we're going to be in March at our division contest, and then we'll be April at our district contest. And we want you to have amazing contests, because I would love to see one of your contestants be a contestant on the international stage. Will that happen this year? I don't know, but you know, it would be well worth a try. So we want to make sure that you have all of the information that you need as you're preparing for all of your contests, the club, the area, and the division. That does it for us tonight. Thank you for attending. International is on the move. We appreciate your coming, and we hope that we have answered your questions tonight and assisted you. And again, we're here to help you. Have an excellent night.